There are places on this earth that the world forgot, and some of them preferred it that way. The editor's email arrived at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday, which should have been the first warning. Nothing good ever came from emails sent at midnight. Zara Malik read it twice, sitting cross-legged on her apartment floor in Lahore, surrounded by cold coffee cups and the graveyard of 3 failed article drafts. She was 31 years old, a journalist with a sharp pen and a reputation for chasing stories no one else wanted. The uncomfortable kind, the kind that made government officials sweat through their collars. But she hadn't published anything significant in 4 months. The email was short, almost insultingly short. Zara heard about a village in the northern hills, Chiragpur, population 200-something. No one leaves, no one visits. Local police got a call 2 weeks ago from someone inside. The call dropped before they could make sense of it. Went up to check, said everything was fine. But the officer who made that trip hasn't filed a single report since. Might be nothing. Might be everything. Sohail. Attached was a hand-drawn map, a single road snaking up into the Kaghan Valley. A circle drawn in red ink, deep in the hills, where the road simply stopped. Zara stared at the map for a long time. Then she packed her bag. She didn't tell anyone where she was going. That was her second mistake. She drove north from Islamabad in a rented Suzuki that groaned on every incline, the road narrowing as the hours passed until it was barely wider than her car. Pine trees pressed in from both sides, like an audience leaning forward. The sky above was the heavy, bruised grey of a storm, deciding whether or not to bother. By late afternoon, her phone signal had reduced to a single flickering bar. By evening, it was gone entirely. She found Chiragpur just as the sun bled out behind the mountains, a dying orange light that turned the valley below into something that looked almost beautiful if you didn't look too carefully. The village was small, perhaps 40 or 50 homes, mud brick and timber, clustered tightly together as if huddling for warmth. Smoke rose from chimneys. Lanterns glowed in windows. A dog barked somewhere in the distance. Normal, Zara thought. Completely and entirely normal. She parked at the edge of the village and stepped out into air so cold and clean it almost hurt to breathe. An old man was sitting on a charpoy outside the nearest house, watching her with the patient, unhurried expression of someone who had nowhere to be and all the time in the world to get there. He had a white beard that reached his chest and eyes the color of river stones, grey and flat and very, very still.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm looking for a place to stay the night. A guest house, maybe. I'm a journalist. I'm writing about...
There is no guest house.
His Urdu was slow and deliberate, each word placed down like a stone.
But you can stay with us. My name is Rehmat Khan. My wife will make chai.
He turned and walked inside without waiting to see if she would follow. Zara looked back at her car, at the empty road, at the darkness pooling between the trees at the edge of the village. She followed him inside. The story isn't over yet. The real mystery will be revealed in part 2. If you want to know what happens next with Zara, make sure to comment part 2. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel to watch the next part first.